Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, March 1st, 2016 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation and our pledge that will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Our Heavenly Father, may we come to see that we have many skills and talents that we can use, that we are a positive influence on many people, that there are those around us who wish us well. May we come to value that today is a blessing to be enjoyed, that each person is unique and important, and that each moment of our lives is meeting. This we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. Our first item on tonight's agenda is the Citizens Open Forum, where it allows you to address the City Council. We only have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes, that you state your name and address clearly for the record, and you can speak towards items on tonight's agenda, and we don't have any public hearings, so you're free to speak about anything on tonight's agenda. Having said that, anybody on this side of the room like to address the council? Yep. Gator? Or Jerry?
Jerry,
right?
There you go. I got the age part, that's for sure. Jerry Cuss, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, downstairs. This will be the first official announcement of this. I was over in Orlando today. There's an organization called Florida Makes. It represents the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and they provide senior level training to manufacturers. So we have signed a contract with them, and as a representative in the 4-county area here of Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hernando, and they've asked us to consider Sarasota and Manatee. So, so we're looking at that. So we'll be representing that as of today. Second thing is with the Sports Commission. The Sports Commission asked us at an economic development meeting last month to help put together a committee to help draft the Oldsmar sports plan, which will be part of the Pinellas sports plan, talking about Pinellas County as a year-round sports destination. And we will meet Friday morning to do that. The way I'm looking at it initially is I think we have 4 very unique things here. Obviously, the Super BMX track, the zip line coming in, Tampa Bay Downs, which is historic, and also the Tampa Bay Skating Academy up there, and that's under new ownership. And from what I've heard, the individual is going to put a lot of money into that, so that's even going to be a better attraction. I think those things are 4 really great, unique pillars of this community. And of course, if you get the raise, that'll be the capstone. And the other thing is just invite everybody out. Oldsmar Days coming up. Should have a great parade, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We really, and of course we have the Oldsmobile Car Show Friday night on April the 1st, and we're really expecting a large turnout of Olds Club of America. They're having a reunion here, and also what is it, March 31st, we're having the Oldsmar Day dinner with all those people. So everybody listen, get out and buy your tickets to all of that. Thank you.
Yeah, Gator.
Steve Black, 2010 Hudson Court, Oldsmar. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Friends of the Library. I'd like to remind everyone that we still have aprons, the book bag, cookbook, all for sale at the library. And you can buy all 3 of them for $30, or the apron is $12, the book bag is $7, and the recipe book is $15. And also on the 3rd of March at 6:30 p.m. in Tico Hall, we will have Rick Smith speak to us about Florida history. And if it's anything like the other ones have been, it's going to be very, very interesting. So I invite you all to come out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gator.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Yep, Brian.
My wife's here, she may get upset at me. Brian Mahoney, 435 Lafayette Boulevard. I'm here to ask some questions in regards to the zip line, and I'm sorry that we're doing it so late. There's a number of folks here that I think that would like to follow. I've got a list of questions. Do you want me to just fire them away?
Sure. If we don't have answers, we'll see what we can do.
First is, how'd you inform the residents of Lafayette and Country Club of your plans to build the zip line and the surrounding area so that we would be made aware before the decisions were made?
It was noticed on our meetings, right?
I think it just, the city council agendas was probably the only notice.
But no public hearing was held and no surveys or what have you for the citizens?
Nope.
All right. Next question is, who's liable if a major incident occurs at the facility beyond their insurance coverage?
What is it, $1 million policy they have? They have $1 million policy.
Okay. And if the line breaks with 3 people on it, what's the liability and how does that come back to the city?
Well, the line wouldn't have 3 people on it, so.
Well, what about the walkways?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yep.
Is Park and Recs planning on holding classes over the summer at Mobley Bayou?
As far as in
the preserve, in the new nature center?
it's possible, yeah.
So when I'm looking at capacity for the facility, I believe that we're overextending ourselves and I have grave concerns, aside from the fact that it's essentially my backyard.
And let me, just to address that, that was a question that came up, and I believe Councilmember Seidel brought that up. And they don't anticipate, thousands of people coming to that. I think the number was about, maybe, was it 30 a day or 40 a day? But they'll be.
It was 80.
Was 80, but they come in like groups of 10, and, they come in 3 cars. I was there this weekend for the Eagles ceremony, and we had 30 people there and we had plenty of parking. And I mean, they're going to schedule their times. If you want to go do it, this is how they do it at the other facilities that they run. You'll do a 1 o'clock, so you show up at 12:30 or whatever time they tell you, and that's typically how they do it.
Okay, but with that being said, if we're talking about during the summer, you're going to have kids running around from 5 to 13 in the back park area. That facility's in the back park area. You're going to have people wanting to use the dog park. You have people wanting to use the tennis courts.
Sure.
I understand the direction you're trying to go. I just believe capacity back there can't handle it all, especially if you get to Saturdays and Sundays. I sit on my back.
When you say capacity, you're talking about parking or?
Parking and total people running around back there.
I don't know how many, Bruce may know, I don't know how many parking spaces there are, because they've already said that if their people aren't afraid to walk, they'll park out by the tennis courts and walk back. That's not an issue.
But where's the plan for them to park right now?
It would be at the Environmental Education Center. We're looking at some improvements along the dog park area and or as well the tennis facility.
Right, but then when you go back there and you have summer camps going on, you're going to have loads of kids in there.
They also said that they would shuttle people. So they also said that if it goes over capacity and it does become a problem, that they'll shuttle people.
Okay.
I mean, I've done it. I don't know if you've ever done it, but I've done it in like Jamaica, and it's groups of about 20 people, and
No, and I can appreciate that, but then when you get into it, when I'm doing it in Jamaica or Aruba, I'm not doing it in a residential community and bringing all those people down the road where my 8-year-old's running around. So I already have enough reservations about letting him go behind my fence that I have clear visibility.
Right.
Now we're bringing in a number of people, quite frankly, that I don't know. And then you're talking about having it going on with a number of people that we don't know, while our kids from the community are going to be back there at summer camps. We're going to have movies at the park. I believe it's the 21st or 24th. Same scenario. You're going to have an overlap of all these people going back there. And I believe that it's going to cause some friction.
Well, and while I appreciate the comments, and we don't know all the details, I mean, if movies in the dark are run at night, I don't anticipate this thing running at night. The other thing, I was at, again, the Eagle Scout ceremony over the weekend, and there were, 75 people there. I knew very few of them. I would say that we would probably have better control over knowing who the people are that are there, because they're going to have to fill out entry forms. I'm sure they're going to have driver's license. So we're definitely going to know who the people are that are back there, as opposed to somebody, let's just say hypothetically having a wedding back there, and there's 200 people. We don't know who any of those, you know, I mean, we really don't have a great, I see people playing on the tennis courts, and I'll let you finish, and we don't necessarily, well, I appreciate your concern. I think we have a better understanding of who's going to be riding the zip line and, you know, following up with them. So.
All right, let me, I got a few more if you don't mind.
No.
Who will be performing the safety inspections on the facility? Is it the city? Do we have to hire a third-party person? How do we know that once it's built that it's safe and secure?
I don't have an answer for that.
State of Florida does that.
So
Probably like carnival rides and things like that, where they have people.
It's actually the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services.
okay. How often will they be doing the inspections? Do we know that?
No,
I'm just, these are some of my questions.
Whatever's required by the state.
What added responsibilities will be taken on by the Park Service or the Park and Rec area as far as ground maintenance? And is there a fiscal impact to the city's budget with extra garbage and what have you going on back there?
well, actually, we think the fiscal impact will be beneficial in that there'll be revenue from this, from the zip line that we haven't had before.
So that's a good transition to my next question. Thank you. What is the use and where will the proceeds of this go? I read the RFP and I see you're looking for $30,000 the first year in incremental growth and $184,000 in the first year and then $250,000 the following year. What is where will the proceeds be used? Have we discussed that? Or is this just, let's plug it in and see what happens? And no.
It would just be revenue to the general fund. In actuality, although we don't track money this way, it would probably be used to help maintain the Mobley Bayou Wilderness Preserve.
Okay. Finally, and I guess you've answered it, I came through there this afternoon before I came over here, and I drove through the park at 5:20. There's about 15 cars parked at the dog park. Everyone's hanging out, relaxing, enjoying it. It's 5:20, they'll still be doing trips in the back. There's families walking through with strollers. There's a nice family walking down your street. They're going through, and I'm concerned that this may remove us from being a nice community that you want to raise your kids in, where you come to work and play, which I do both, and that we're shifting to something else. I'd like to offer an alternative for you to consider. I know we may be too little too late at this point, but we have the two lakes over off of Forest Lakes and racetrack there that you guys are considering a fishing pond or what have you on. I think you need to consider really evaluating where you're going with this, because what I would hate to see is all of this go in and then we're doing the signs the same as we are on State Street with Ryland Homes Keep Out, because we're taking away the small town feel, and I don't want it to turn into, quite frankly, a tourist trap behind my house or in Oldsmar.
And I mean, I don't want to speak for the council, but I don't think that was ever the intention. As a matter of fact, I think it was the intention of the council to kind of, showcase our community. I think we're very proud of it, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And the other thing is our council is very ecotourism interested in doing that with our bike trails. You know, we're encouraging people to come here and ride our trails from all parts of the county and, you know, things like that, to come experience. And we just did a study or a meeting with USF about helping us come up with an idea of what to do with our downtown area. And the one common thing was, you know, to bring here not only people here to downtown like you do Safety Harbor or Dunedin, but to also for them to experience, you know, a lot of the other things that we have, you know, the beaches that we have and the spray parks and the trail system that we have and things like that. So,
and I agree with everything you're saying, especially with the downtown portion of it, but that is a business area and not a residential area. And one last question that I forgot to ask, and then I'll step down because I know you've got others. Did we do a study of how having this zip line is going to impact the home values of anyone on Lafayette or Country Club to where it's going to diminish our home values that we're still trying to recover from?
I don't think that we did, but I would say, and I went to, I go to a lot of different meetings, but I think the things that we try and do in the city of Oldsmar, whether it's the tennis courts or the BMX track or, you know, because the same could probably have been said about the BMX track, but I think our intent is to actually improve the value of people's homes by improving the quality of life that people experience in Oldsmar. And, you know, old may be in our name, but we're anything but old. And that's kind of the thought. We would never do anything that would diminish values.
But again, when you talk about the BMX, it's on a major highway. It's been there for years and it's built up. And the back area is completely covered. You've got the movie theater and it's all business. Here, again, we're entering into a residential community where the kids are running up and down.
And I guess I'll say, and I appreciate all the comments that you have, and they're definitely received. And to the comment about the value, I mean, directly across the street on the extended State Street Road, they built Wellington Estates homes of $450,000 in value, and they built them straight across the street from our wastewater treatment plant. So they sold out before they even went vertical on those. So if there was a concern about something that would devalue homes, on one side they're backed by the power lines, and on the other side they're backed by our, you know, sewage treatment plant, and those things sold like hotcakes. So I don't see the zip line in that same category as power lines. And had we been constructing power lines now, that would be a different story. But I think I don't put those in the same category, and that didn't hurt the value of those homes over there. And I'm sure they'll resell as well. And I know homes along Lafayette are reselling, you know, at higher values, just as the market's seeing. So, but we made some notes about your comments, and definitely we'll take those into consideration.
Mr. Mayor, can I
Yeah.
comment just a little
Sure,
bit?
go ahead.
Because, Brian, I had raised some of the same concerns. It was part of our discussion, I should say. And the operator, who has experience with other parks, indicated that there would probably be a maximum number of people out there at any time. This is if it runs on the max of about 30 people is what the numbers are. I, like yourself, I actually went out there about the same time that you did and looked at parking and tried to kind of, okay, how are we set on parking? I believe, and my memory may be a little faded, but I think there are about 20 parking spots that we put out there by the Nature Center. I was kind of surprised when I went out there that there were quite a few cars out there, but nobody parks over. Nobody uses that parking lot. They all park right along there, and it prompted some more discussion about maybe cleaning that up to make it a little more friendly for someone to park there. We also brought up the discussion of traffic, because it's a concern, you know, going down Lafayette. I don't know necessarily about the whole street, but certainly going out to Tampa Road, and perhaps it might be a good time, or at least have it on the radar, that if there are any kind of issues, that perhaps it might make sense to put in a couple speed bumps, which is something I know has been discussed with the residents over there before. I just don't know that there's ever been a consensus on it. So, you know, I understand your concerns. I think we all do. And a lot of the issues that you brought up, we discussed during the process we went through. And you raise a good point, though. The notification process probably is lacking. I know that there were some stories in some of the local coverage that we get. I don't know that that is significant enough to reach everyone, but in any event, I just wanted to comment on it because I asked some of the same questions that you are. And as it related to the traffic and the parking out there, they did say they come in groups. It's like 4 or 5 cars out there. A lot of them sometimes will get dropped off. They're like team building things very often. And it's friendly, you know, eco-friendly. That's the intent, to use it to really more display the bayou and get maybe more use exposed to more of our citizens who may not use it otherwise.
But for that place to sustain?
Can't, you'll have to come up here just so we can get, sorry, Brian.
My wife left, so she won't yell anymore at me. In order for it to sustain it, it's going to have to be 95% non-residents of Oldsmar for that to be a sustainable business venture. And that's the concern, is that we're going to be limiting access to the fishing pier that's back there, the floating dock, and the area in the dog park, and it's going to be causing disruption to the citizens of Oldsmar. And that's the main concern we need to be focusing on.
I think you raised some good points. I don't know that I agree with your points, quite candidly. I think that...
From a business perspective or from the...
No, I think from a business perspective, but I also think that those parks are not used purely by our citizens right now. I mean, you go out there and, you know, there's people from other places. It's not just us over there. And I go over there with my dogs sometime as well, so I can appreciate that. But I don't think it's going to be as intrusive. We'll see. I mean, let's hope we're right. But based on kind of the history of it, it's not like a carnival ride. It's a different experience.
And I understand that, but it's twofold to the responses. One, there's no way they can sustain the business without constant people coming in. We have 14,000 people.
Sure.
So even if it's the surrounding area and we go into the side zip codes, it's going to be people coming into the Tampa area and going to the beaches, and I understand and appreciate that. I still believe there's alternatives within our city to make that a viable venture. But when you're getting into that area of limiting access or causing harm to the access of the residents, that's where I have the concern that it's going to limit our capabilities to just go back there and relax, and that includes everybody within Oldsmar. But I'll let you go to the next person.
Fair enough.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
make a few comments too. I would say one thing is, you know, Oldsmar is highly residential and it's highly parks and preserves, and no matter what we do within the city, there is some impact to residents. I mean, we mentioned downtown, and we say, you know, it's commercial, it's town center, but there are homes, including my own, that live within, you know, right behind the downtown. Same thing with the BMX track. You know, we still have some residents that complain about the loudspeaker noise, and so we try to address those things. So no matter where we do anything within the city, there is going to be some residential impact, you know, that we try to minimize. So I wouldn't say that it's, you know, it only needs to be in a commercial area. Secondly, I think your biggest concern you brought up was children's safety, and I would say that's all of our largest concern. I agree with the mayor. When you do a zip line, you have to have a driver's license, you have to fill out a waiver. I mean, because obviously there's a lot of legal requirements and things they have to cover there. So I think we will have better visibility into the people that are using it. I liked the idea of the speed bumps, and, you know, from other zip lines that I've personally tried, nobody drives out to the actual zip line location, which is one of the things that Empower Adventures mentioned. At other zip lines I've been to, you kind of have an area where people go fill out the waivers, and then you get on like a little golf cart or a shuttle and they take you back there. So I would say that's probably going to be the best option, because there is limited parking, and, you know, people are walking their dogs and kids back on that road. So if we don't go the speed bump route, I would suggest that's probably the best way is a golf cart or something of that nature that's a low speed, so we don't have to worry about those concerns with more people driving back there. Plus they may not realize it's back there, or they might be a little lost, and we don't want people kind of driving back there lost or meandering around. So I definitely think we share your concerns, and we did think about those things prior to this. I think it's a good benefit for the city. I think a lot of our parks, especially Mobley Bay in general, are underutilized. There's a lot of money that we put into maintaining these parks to make them beautiful. And I don't think they need to be strictly just for residents, because we have a great city. I think it's okay to share. You know, they're coming to do the zip line, and then they're going to go home, but they're going to go and they're going to share this great experience about our city. And I think that only helps the city.
Well, they may go to a restaurant.
They may go to a restaurant, they may stay in a hotel. So all of that helps keep our taxes low. You know, I can tell you this from owning a home in another city that has a tax rate of over 6%. When I got my tax bill this year, I couldn't believe it was thousands of dollars more than the tax bill I pay here in the city of Oldsmar. So all of these things, I mean, we may not think about them, but at the end of the day, those things are what help bring in additional revenue, help make the city great, that do keep our taxes low. So I completely agree with all of your points and concerns. I think we still have some answers, you know, that we need to get, but I think that it's something that we have control over, kind of limiting that traffic and, you know, some visibility into who goes back there, so.
Brian, thank you for having the courage. A lot of citizens don't have the courage to come up and address the council with all these questions, and your questions are all very good points, and we do share the same concerns that you do, and a lot of the things we have looked into. One thing that I can say is that they said that if it's only going to be 30 people at a time, normally 3 to 4 people in a car go. So it's not going to be 30 cars. It's going to be 10 cars. And it is going to, you know, provide people from all over the Tri-County area to come and experience Oldsmar. I completely understand your concern, though, because I have a bike trail in the front of my yard that I didn't expect to be there, but it's, you know, not my property. It's the city's property, and now I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people enjoying themselves, you know, riding their bikes and everything else. So we will, please come before us again if you have any concerns whatsoever, if as it goes forward. Empower Invent, you know, they've done this all over the world. So they know the concerns that people have, and they address the concerns that people have. So we want to make sure that we address yours. So I just wanted to thank you for coming before us, because not a lot of citizens do that, so.
And just one other thing, you know, I don't know how long you've lived down there, Brian, but, and this is, I'm not directing it just at you, but just in general to the public, you know, I don't know how long ago it was that, you know, that we had a skate park back there where, again, we didn't know the quality of people that were back there. There weren't, you know, it was free, wasn't it, pretty much to do, you know? So I think the quality of people, not to say that people that can afford to do the zip lining aren't capable of committing some kind of a, you know, crime or something like that. But, you know, it's not like this is going to be a $5 zip line. I think there's 3 different tiers, I think, with the most expensive one being, I think, $100 for the entire package, close, plus or minus.
Right.
The combo package was it'll be $99.
Right. So, I mean, it's not like, you know, the quality of people that we're bringing are going to be bad, but I just wanted to point out that, you know, the skate park, that, you know, we didn't have control over who those people were, and I can guarantee you a lot of those people were coming from other parts of the county or Hillsborough County. So, but we definitely hear your points, and, you know, we didn't do this without any thought about the things that you're talking about and asking the questions that you did, and we hope it's a great thing for the area. And as Gabby said, it's, you know, we want to showcase it. That's the, you know, the whole idea. You know, we have the park, the concerts down at the park. We're holding, you know, Oldsmar days and nights, and you know, we're expecting thousands of people from all over the, you know, the county, because we can't live on just Oldsmar alone to do an event like that. So at any rate, we do appreciate your comments, and I don't know if anybody else wants to address that.
I'd like to say one thing.
Sure.
Brian, just so you know, they have to have a reservation. I don't know if anybody brought that up, I didn't hear it, but they have to have a reservation to go to the zip line. So I think that's gonna kind of consolidate some of the people.
For the most part, I think they do. I think they probably have some ability to do walk-ups, don't they, if they have
Usually,
space,
yeah.
but yeah.
I think I remember in the presentation he mentioned.
For the most part, it's
yeah.
going to be blocks of people, like you said, Eric, team building and things like that for corporations and stuff like that. So are you going to be zipping on it?
If we address the safety and inspection concern.
Jim Wiseman, 437 Lafayette. Brian's my neighbor. I think he did a great job of covering it. My one question is, what's the time frame? I mean, is this going to go from 7 till 9?
24 hours a day. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I don't know that.
I think it's daylight hours.
Pretty much like park hours.
Time it's going to be 8:39.
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's my big thing is, you know, you want to sit out on the patio and, you know, enjoy company, and you don't want to hear, ooh, while they're going down the thing. Otherwise, I'll be back up here talking to you.
You'll
The time frame and the noise is the real thing, but like I said, Brian covered everything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all the ones I've ever been on were like 10 to 5 or.
Yeah,
something
we'll,
like that.
we'll definitely try and figure out what the hours are. It's obviously daylight time. Anybody else on this side of the room? Yep.
Hi, my name is Karim Barwani. I'm known as a junior, and I have a small convenience store on St. Pete Drive. And we own this store. I just want to give you a brief idea. I own this store for the last 13 years, and I'm a resident of Oldsmar too. My concern is this. I got this letter from City of Oldsmar about the window sign of the advertisement of the product. And they give us this paper saying you have to follow the rules. And we try to keep up with the rules, and we do follow the rules according to their signage, what they want, the size of the window according to that. But they started last year in 2015, and it's almost 1 year now. So we saw in the other store in the neighborhood, they are not following the rules. So I went back to the city of Oldsmar office and talked to them. And they said, okay, we're going to do it we're going to take care of it. I waited 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Then I went back again few times, but I don't get any response. Then I left the message for the lady named Marie. I don't know her last name. She's the...
Maria Dolphine?
I don't know her last name, Marie. You know her, right?
Yeah, Marie.
Okay. I left her a message on the phone, and I didn't get any response a couple of times. And then I spoke to one of the couple of counselors, all my problems. And they suggest me, you have to come to the meeting and speak up for yourself. So they will look into it. And I got a picture of other store of last year since they gave out this information. After that, if they give out this letter and it says on it, you have to follow the rules or follow the law within 10 days or we're going to take the action. And what is the action? We don't know. Because I follow the rules. By the store, they don't follow the rules, and they have all the sign outside, and we took the sign down. According to taking the sign down of the cigarette, beer, and all that, we have like it hurts our business. City looks nice, store looks nice, it's beautiful. If everybody obey the rules, I'm happy with that. I don't want the sign outside.
You at St. Pete in Washington or St. Pete in Bayview?
Bayview.
Okay. And I don't know if Tom wants to jump in, and if you could maybe give the addresses of the two, if you know them, to our deputy city clerk.
Yeah,
so we
my
can...
store address is 300.
No, we'll just, when we're done, and she'll get the addresses, so that, or if you want to get them. I just want to make sure that we do it. And to your point about other people violating it, we only have one code enforcement officer, and we have a lot of businesses in here, and just because they may not be following it now doesn't mean they haven't been notified, or that maybe we haven't gotten to them. There are a lot of businesses in Oldsmar, and he's got other jobs besides just looking at signs and things like that. But we are trying to make everybody adhere to the policies that set forth in the city of Oldsmar in relationship to code enforcement. And signs is one of them, and there are a lot of them on Tampa Road, and we're working very hard to bring them all into compliance for sure. So
sign never came down in 1 year, like a store, like an AutoZone, or this.
We'll look into it.
All this, and right next to my neighbor, he had a big cigarette sign outside on a street, which if I put outside one cigarette sign for my business, I would sell that cigarette carton every week, so many.
I hear you.
But if I don't put my sign, if my neighbor, my competition is doing it, it's hurting my business.
Mayor, I'd like to say something. I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
Full disclosure, Junior's a friend of mine. I've known him since I've moved to Oldsmar. And he addressed this with me, and he told me that he addressed it with Eric. The good news is you've got a couple people here that are going to be on the code enforcement board here pretty soon, because tonight we're going to be putting, I think, Babe and I don't know, I think 1 or 2 people on the code enforcement board. So we're going to have more people on the code enforcement board. But I can tell you from personal experience that this man has followed the rules, and the store down the road has not.
Okay.
And it's not fair. And
I completely agree. Rules apply to everybody, and that's what we need to make sure.
I was just curious as to, I know when we started, we've always enforced it, but I think that we put a greater emphasis on it starting about a year ago. I think is when that started. It might have been a little bit longer at this point.
Yeah, 1 year.
And because I remember coming into your store to pick something up and being informed about how you were doing.
How frustrated they are, sure.
Right, but I'll give him credit in the fact that Junior then took them down. I think it even motivated you a little bit because you repainted the front of the store and everything.
I did everything. I got a picture of everything of my store, another store of the window, if you would like to see it.
But I am curious as to why it's been so long, and I guess I don't know what the consequences are of somebody else saying, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to follow the rules, because I've got to believe we went to the other store that's on, and I'm using that as an example, St. Pete Drive, but I've got to believe we went there. I just wonder, what are the consequences when one, is following the rules and someone is not?
I can tell you what the consequences are.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so they would be notified, first of all, by a courtesy letter normally, and then if they don't come into compliance, then they would be issued a statement or notice of violation, and that would give them a time frame to come into compliance, and if they didn't do that, then that would be set for hearing before the Code Enforcement Board. The Code Enforcement Board would give them a window of opportunity to comply, usually shorter, on things like this where a sign can come down immediately. And then if they don't, then a fine would begin to run. On initial violations, it's $250 a day for every day that they're in violation. On repeat violations, it's up to $500 a day. So I'm not sure as to what the other store, whether they're in the pipeline, but they have not come to the code enforcement board just yet. So we're gonna have to find out the address, and we can follow up. But that's the timeline, basically.
Yeah,
It should not take a year.
Yeah, I know, it's almost a year. I waited too long, very patiently. I tried hard on my end, talked to the officer. I went to the office, city of Oldsmar, 5-6 times. I talked to Rick, the officer, and he told me we're going to start all over again on this from January. And then he come and he handed me this letter to me first. Sure. I said, "You're handing me this letter. The store down the road is not following. What is that all about?" So he said, "Don't worry about the other store. You worry about your store." I said, why should I not worry about other store? I am a citizen of residents of Oldsmar, and I'm in business over here, and there's a competition right next to me. If you tell me to obey the law, why not the other store?
We know exactly the two stores, and we'll definitely look into it. But just for the record, if you know, I know you know your address, but I don't know if you know the address of the other one, just so we make sure.
It's not only one store. I'm not pointing out for my competition, but the store on the Tampa Road, like a Speedway, AutoZone, other stores,
like I said,
their signs are up. They never came down.
Yep. We only have one person in thousands of businesses, so we can't be everywhere all the times. But in your particular instance, we definitely will look into that and see. So if you can get it.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you following the rules.
We do appreciate you coming.
We do appreciate you following the rules.
Thank you very much.
Everybody go to Junior store.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody on this side of the room? Yep, babe. Loretta. I was looking at babe and calling. I'm not even going there. Then you would both get up at the same time.
It's all right if I say it. I got a few years on her. On a little lighter note, I don't have a complaint tonight. How about that?
You what?
What'd
you say?
I don't have a complaint tonight.
I heard you. I just wanted you to say it again.
I did. Anyway, good evening, Mayor and Council, and Loretta White, 601 Shore Drive East, and congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
Boy, you pulled it off, didn't you?
I think so.
That's great. Okay. The first is I just want to remind everybody we've got an election coming up on the 15th. And if you got a mail-in ballot and you don't have time to mail it back, we do have a drop zone at the library. And it's open, I believe, from 9 to 4 every day, Monday through Saturday this week. Closed Sunday, open back up again Monday till the next week, and then closed on Sunday and open the day before the election. So they'll be there if you want. If you don't want to put a stamp on it, or if you run out of time to mail it, drop it off at the library and it'll be counted. The main thing you have to remember when you drop it off of there is please sign it. If you don't sign it and date it, it's not going to be counted. So please try to remember to do that. We have early voting also starts on March the 5th, but that's only at the SOE offices, which is supervisor elections offices. That would be Clearwater Courthouse, Starkey Road, where their main headquarters is, and in St. Pete. I don't know the address in St. Pete, but and also if you've already got your ballot, just remember there's a lot of candidates on there that have dropped out. So you're going to waste your vote if you vote for them. So I think there's only 5 left, maybe until tonight. And there's only 5 on the Republican side. I think there's two or three on the Democratic side.
A couple of them.
But just don't waste your vote by voting for one of them that's already gone. In fact, you might want to wait till after tonight to put your mail-in ballot, put it in. But just don't forget that that's there for your convenience. Okay, the other thing I've got, it's that time again this year. Now, last year, I came before you, the Top of the Bay Garden Club. We have our annual fundraiser on March the 19th at 6:30 p.m. at Tampa Bay Downs. It's not at East Lake Country Club this time. It's Tampa Bay Downs. It's $30 a ticket. There's a buffet dinner, dessert, cash bar. There's a silent and Chinese and a live auction. The tickets are $30 a piece. We'd like to invite you to come. Last year, some of you donated, and we thank you for that. And if you don't think you can come that evening, I got tickets with me, $30 tickets. So if you'd like to have one, we'd love to have you come. It's a fun time, so we're hoping you'd join us. We were hoping Linda would be there, but she's got another commitment. But
I'm
anyway,
going to donate.
Yes, she's going to donate. And to those of you that donated last year, we thank you very much. And like I say, if you want to donate, that's fine. Or if you want to buy a ticket and donate it, that's fine too. But we'd like to invite everybody to come out. It's a fun time, it really is. And we send children to Camp Wekiva with proceeds. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Camp Wekiva. If you Google it, you'll find it's one of the best camp grounds for children in the country, not just in Florida, but in the country. In fact, they're naming I think it's some kind of a driveway or something in Apopka, Orlando, called the Wekiva Driveway. I think it's Wekiva Driveway, or whatever they call it. But anyway, they're naming it after Camp Wekiva, which is pretty neat. Yeah. It's been quite a while coming, but we got it. So, and it's a great camp to send the children to. Last year we sent 7. This year we're sending 9. So we're really proud. We're breaking a record this year. So please come out and join us. And like I say, if you need a ticket, give me a call, 855-1931, and I will personally deliver it to you. Okay? So come and join us. And thank you again for those of you that contributed last year. We thank you very much. Thank you.
Loretta, we were talking about you at one of the last meetings for the plants you gave us.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's still doing yeah, I put it under the oak tree and it's beautiful. Yeah.
Mine is still dead.
No, you don't have a green thumb.
No, I donated mine, so it's all.
Need something a little smaller this year, we promise.
And just so you know, I mailed all 3 of my ballots in, so.
Okay. Often, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Loretta.
Anybody else? Yep, babe.
Yeah.
Babe Wright. I live down on South Racetrack Road, which is a total racetrack. Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
Is there any possibility that somewhere along the way that Oldsmar could get involved in making a 4-way stop in front of my house before someone gets killed?
I believe you've asked for this before, and I don't know whatever happened. Do we know whatever happened?
I know the road belongs to Hillsborough County, but see, they're building all those houses down there now. We're going to have 23 more houses over on State Street, and then the ones down on the property across from the park. They've started building there, and there's 3 buses that stop in front of my house, and if I was the parents, I would not let my child go there and wait on the bus. We have no sidewalk, and the children are just at the mercy of whichever speeder gets them first, I guess. That's the only thing I can say.
Well, I think you already know this, babe, that the road itself, even though, well, of course, the road or the pavement's not actually on the county line anyway, but the road right-of-way is under Hillsborough County's jurisdiction. So the only, I mean, there's 4, you have a 4-way approach there. The only one we control has a stop sign, and that's right in front of your house.
Right.
The other 3 approaches are under Hillsborough County's jurisdiction.
Well, could maybe the city of Oldsmar write a letter of request or something to Hillsborough County and see if there's something that way we could influence?
Yeah, I'd be glad to ask them to take a look at it anyway. Can't hurt anything.
Because the sheriff comes down there quite often, but I don't know if they ticket anyone or not, because they used to the trucks that haul dirt down there, I think, but I don't know what they're doing.
Especially, I drove down there tonight, coincidentally, and wow, I was shocked at all the construction down there.
Yeah, so. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What about the sidewalk issue, that there's no sidewalk? Is that
Hillsborough
something?
County.
Well, no, that's because the residents in Babe's neighborhood about 25 years ago said they didn't want any sidewalks. Unfortunately, I got a long
That must have been my husband. He's dead now, so we can talk about
it. He probably was the chair of that committee. In fact, he might have even been on city council at the time.
But, you know, sidewalks would be great, but I don't know where you're going to put them because we have the open ditches. We have all these open ditches down through there, and I think that would be cost prohibitive, even for the right-of-ways.
But to answer your question, historically, they liked living in the country, which meant no sidewalks.
But I mean, now that there's a lot of
But
construction.
it's not country anymore.
It might just be.
I appreciate it if you would, Mr. Haddock, I'd appreciate it. And I'm sure the people down there with children would too. Okay.
State Street and Racetrack Road, yes.
Yep. Thanks. Thanks, babe.
Thanks, babe.
I saw another hand somewhere on this side. Yep.
Hi, my name is Wendy Maltinos, and I live at 223 Arlington Avenue East. Gabby, thank you for getting back with me on Facebook. And again, with Brian, thanks, Brian. I have issues with child safety, and I did talk to Lynn with Leisure Department the other day about the dog park, because I also have concerns about dogs escaping through the gates and holes in the fences, and with people coming through, possibly walking through. If a dog gets out, if somebody gets bit, you know, you've got issues with that as well. So with that being said, since I've talked to Lynn about the dog park, they said that it's in the budget to redo the fence for the dog park itself. My concern is for the nature and the natural habitat back there. And when I spoke with Lynn, he said 2 towers were going in the preserve itself. But what is going to keep those visitors from traipsing through the preserve back there and the protection of the wildlife back there?
Sure.
Is a concern.
Yeah, and I'll speak and Bruce can correct me, but I think pretty much the zipline people are going to be under the guided too. It's going to be under the observation of them. You know, what people do on their own time, we can't do, just like people that, you know, go to the park or go to the pavilion or kayak and ride their bikes. We try and monitor it, but, you know, we hope that the people that go back there and appreciate the conservation area also respect it as well. So as to the zip line people, I feel pretty good that they'll be under the control of the people running the zip line.
Okay.
As for, you know, I've been back there before too, and, you know, kids are riding bikes through the woods and, you know, being kids and things like that. So as far as the impact of the towers, I think it's, and Bruce can correct me, I think it's very minimal amount of impact.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, the tower locations where they're putting those into the ground has some impact, but that's pretty minimal.
Right.
But of course, the part that's open to the public now will remain open, and I know you're familiar with the area and the.
Yeah, I'm there every day with my dogs, every day, sometimes twice a day.
Paved walkway that goes down to the end there where the water ends at the water, and then there's some other trails back through there. So all that's open to the public. The entire preserve is not open to the public, and so if that became an issue, then of course that would require law enforcement activity to, you know, monitor that.
Okay.
Which has happened in the past occasionally.
Yeah, and you actually addressed Brian's question about child safety, and you're talking about driver's licenses, and these people are filling out waivers, and because it's a $99 package, you're not going to attract less.
We hope the quality of.
Right, so with that being said, you can still have money, and with the kids running around the playground, my concern is, okay, now you've got all these people that are coming to Oldsmar knowing that these kids can actually play back there unmonitored, you know, for the general being. And with these people coming into Oldsmar, we don't know who they are, even though you get a driver's license. We don't know their background. My concern is for these child safety, you know, is that, you know, and I pray to God that nobody is hurt, no kids are hurt, but, you know, what if there is, you know, what type of, you know, how is it going to be dealt with, you know, as far as if anything ever happens? I would rather be prepared and think that, okay, if there's, you know, some child molester that comes back in through there and sees these kids playing, well, you know, I mean, as a parent, I don't have kids, but as a parent, I would not allow my kids back there anymore, just for that reason. And that's part of, you know, living in Oldsmar. It was, you know, I moved here in '94. It was small, quiet, quaint. And I don't mind progress, but I'm more concerned about safety for.
And I think everybody on this council is concerned about safety, and, you know, child predators are everywhere, and there's no protection that stops them all.
No,
and so whether there's a zip line there or not, or, you know, there was even a park there, you know, they tend to go where kids congregate, whether it's schoolyards or kids walking home from school where they're vulnerable, and things like that. So it's definitely something that we're going to monitor. I'm sure our community police officers are going to be.
I have a daughter that just turned 13. I wouldn't let her go out there right now, whether there were zip lines out there or not. It's just how I feel. And we live next door to one of the parks. And only now can she go over there with that group of friends.
Right.
Because of that very issue that you're talking about. I don't know that you know, I don't know that that makes the issue any worse, because the reality of it is that
They're out there.
predators and that type of stuff are attracted to our parks.
Yeah.
Hence the reason we passed an ordinance a few years back about not allowing, I forget how many feet it is, but you can't, if you're a sex offender, you can't be within so many feet of our park. It's still an issue.
It's hard to police.
But, and you know, our community officers, which is one of the many reasons I'm so sold on the way that we do this, they're educated as to who are the offenders in our area.
Where are they?
And so it certainly doesn't address those who come from outside
Other
of our
areas.
area, but it's a risk that we have today, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I would agree with you on.
Right,
Okay.
Mayor, and I agree with the mayor and Councilmember Seidel, and I think that maybe it would be a good idea to have our Pinellas County Sheriff officers patrol it, like really, you know, go back there more. I know they go on ATVs, because
Right.
I've seen them when I'm kayaking stuff, I see them on ATVs, it's funny. Have them, you know, be more diligent in going out there and making sure that the kids are safe, and trying to, you know, patrol that a little bit more, especially at the beginning when we first get started and everything.
Sure.
But then keep that up. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's going to be heavily monitored for a lot of different things, you know, cars, people activity, types of people, you know.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to be on top of it. So.
Okay. And then the other thing for me, and I know Melissa and I talked about this the other day, Melissa Mahoney, the community garden right there in front of Bicentennial Park is really becoming an eyesore. I don't live there. I walk by it every day when I go to the park, but it's really not being kept up to where to where it looks nice as you drive by. You've got the shed that sits right out front. You've got a bunch of pallets that sit out front. A lot of these raised bed gardens are just overgrown with weeds and stuff that's not taken care of very well anymore. The first year it was actually pretty nice, but now it's just
We'll see if we can
becoming
get
an
them
eyesore.
to kind of do a little house cleaning, spring cleaning out there.
Remember?
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't used my bed in quite some time. Someone else is using
Yeah.
it. But I mean, I know especially right now, because we're kind of having an unseasonably warm winter, that doesn't help. You know, gardening in Florida, you get bugs, plants. And one of the reasons why I had to give away my bed was just because I travel so much. So if anyone else is out of town, or, you know, that's why it's a community garden. Everybody kind of helps out there, waters, et
Look
cetera.
into it.
But
Yeah, we'll look into it and see if they
And
can.
then really the only other issue I had was, we talked, when Brian was up here, was the lack of communication with the citizens of Oldsmar. So like, I didn't know about the zip line until it actually was a done deal. So even if questionnaires are sent out in water bills is one easy way to do it. And if someone doesn't reply to a questionnaire, then it's kind of their own fault. But that would be an easy way, because I know I'll flip through that little newsletter that's in with our water bill, but I don't sit there and read everything. And that may be where it was advertised that you guys were going to have a forum on the zip line, but I didn't see it. So I think better communication with the citizens of Oldsmar needs to be looked at as well. Yeah, thank you.
I think I saw one more hand. We're about to wrap this up because we're way past our time, but yep.
I'm tall. Hi, my name is Estella Orris, and I live at 8505 Racetrack Road. I'm here to back Babe up. My daughter's one of the kids that rides the bus in that corner. We have to sit in the car, pull into her driveway, and back up and wait for the bus to come because they will run her over. We call Hillsborough, they direct us to Pinellas. They're pointing fingers. Even the police officers are pointing fingers. It's not our road, it's your road, it's your road. No, it's both of your roads. Somebody needs to take care of it because a child or somebody is going to get killed. This is a dangerous intersection.
Sure.
A dangerous intersection. Whether they don't want to put a stop sign and you do, somebody needs to put a stop sign before somebody gets killed. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was we have 3 horses. And we would love to talk to you guys about maybe considering allowing us to be able to go into the park and ride our horses, only because we were allowed by private properties, all of our neighbors, to ride our horses, and now we no longer are allowed because of all the building and subdivisions that are going on. So we love horses. Oldsmar has had horses for over 100 years, and we want to keep them here, and they're lovely, and they're good for kids. And so if that's something that we can add to the agenda, we would really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mayor, I have a quick question, or Bruce. What's the repercussion of adding a stop sign on a state or county-owned road?
On their
I
side?
mean, like, would they even notice?
Yeah, I mean, what if we just put one
You
up?
take on the
and said,
liability.
we're sorry.
You take on the liability.
So if somebody got in an accident or got hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question along that subject, and it's really for our deputies to answer. Are you able to write citations? Yes, if you would, please. Are you able to write citations in our neighboring county? I don't know if there's some reason.
Depends on
No, the infraction, if you're talking about that, an infraction would actually have to occur in this county. For us, we can't, if an infraction happened in Hillsborough County, we cannot write that citation. If an infraction happened in Pinellas County and we followed them into Hillsborough County, we could write them for that infraction then.
Okay, thank you.
But you prefer to drag them back into our county, so it's less paperwork, right? Anybody else? Anybody else in the room? Oh, sorry.
Change of heart right there. Just decided, you know what, I'm
gonna do it.
Give them my.
My name is Kiana Huggins. I live at 444 Lakeview Drive. And I just had one question regarding safety, not with the predators, but why were they guaranteed the variance to go way above the normal height restrictions for the zip lining? I was told that they were able to go above the height restrictions.
Well, basically, the height restriction, I think from a common sense standpoint, applies to buildings. But in this case, it is a structure, even though they're just poles and platforms. And in order to have the zip line function, it was necessary to grant them that variance.
Okay. So, but we're still guaranteed all of our safety, even though maybe someone could fall from that higher.
Well, I don't want to, have another hours of discussion. The city of Oldsmar is not guaranteeing anyone's safety.
Okay. Okay. That was my question.
Thank you for speaking. Anybody else in the room? Did I miss anybody? Going once, going twice? Next item, and I'll keep it brief because we are running late, is the mayor's minute. Just kind of a recap since our last meeting is we'd had our Gator Nationals. For those that didn't go out there, that was a great event. They're all qualifying, or a lot of them qualifying for the Rio de Janeiro Olympics. We were represented by 29 countries, 39 states with over 1,000 riders. The city manager, myself, and the Chamber of Commerce went to Galloway Orthopedics, Walmart, which is interesting. They're doing some improvements. They're adding a liquor store and improving some of the aesthetics of their place. And then a place called Theater World that provides backdrops for places like Ruth Eckerd Hall and places all around the world. And then we visited Tin Drum and the new ownership there. Linda and myself were at the Oldsmar Little League opening day ceremony, and that was great. Seems like the numbers are improving. And then Linda and I went to the Eagle Scout Court of Honor for Ryder Fitzpatrick, which was very nice. I think only 2% of the scouts ever make it to Eagle Scout, so that's a pretty big honor for Ryder, and we were glad to be there. Happy birthday to Gullair, 40 years celebrating. Our next council meeting, for the record, is moved to March 22nd to facilitate the elections and things like that are going on. Community coffee is going to be held at Daddy's Grill on March 9th. If you haven't been, it's a great time. God bless you.
Bless you.
It's a great time. Wednesday, March 9th, 7:30 a.m. to really meet the Sheriff's Department, ask questions, safety concerns, and things like that. If you're a runner, the 34th Annual Armadillo Run is going on Saturday, March 12th, 7:30 a.m. Oldsmar Public Library is the registration. Information at armadillorun.org. Our bike safety rodeo is Saturday, March 12th, 10 to 12 p.m. at the council chamber parking lot right outside the door. It's a free event for all kids, and if you've got young kids that are just learning to ride, we set up an obstacle course for them. We give them helmets and things like that. So definitely, and register their bikes and some other great stuff. It's free, so come out and join that. It says something about a flyer. Are there flyers outside maybe? Oh, over here? Okay, thanks. Also, as Loretta mentioned, Election Day, Tuesday, March 15th, vote and vote often. Annual Easter egg hunt, Saturday, March 19th at RE Olds Park. That's a free event. It starts at 9 a.m. sharp. Don't get there at 9:02 and think you're getting eggs, because it ain't happening. It's over. It starts at 9 and it ends at about 9:03. So at any rate, and detail on upcoming events at myoldsmar.com. That wraps up the mayor's minute. Next, Deputy Kleiss, if you would like to come up and introduce somebody, that would be great. It's not on your agenda, but.
Good evening. Deputy Kleiss, Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. I'd like to introduce a new deputy to the city. This is Deputy Cindy Kakalow.
Hello.
She's been with the sheriff's office for about 1.5 years, and she comes from Connecticut.
Connecticut, yep.
Yes, with 4 years experience in a smaller town. So she is very well, she very well knows what a smaller community needs. So she came in, she's gonna be my partner.
Good.
Nice.
Terrific. What'd you do?
What town in Connecticut? I'm from Connecticut. You
Just outside
saving?
of-
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I'm from Old Saybrook.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what, you drew the short straw and got stuck with him?
Line a little bit. Run me out yet?
I already found out who the boss was. So.
I understand you have a special talent too. So if I go like this, you'll know what that means?
Oh.
What's your special talent?
I don't think, do I have a special talent?
Well,
I don't know. What is that?
Sign language?
Sign language?
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there
I
you
could
go,
do
yes.
that, yeah.
That was the closest thing I had to
Hang on a
sign.
second. I don't have a special talent.
I was afraid to ask. I'm like, Mary, where are you going with this?
That was just, I don't know any, so that's the closest I have. The Queen's Wave.
Welcome.
No, this is the Queen's Wave.
Oh, yeah. Sign language.
Well, I'm rusty now, but my ex-sister-in-law was deaf, so she used to live with us. And my brother and her had a baby, so that's the only way we were able to communicate with her.
Sure.
And she lived with us for a few years, so I took 2 years in college of sign language. I mean, she felt vibrations, she could read lips and stuff, but other than that, we just had to sign. Otherwise, we weren't going to be able to communicate.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you and welcome to the city.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Again, I would like to invite everybody to the community coffee. Get to meet us. I heard a lot of concerns out here tonight. You can talk to us, and we can hopefully get you some answers.
Yep, definitely. And are we safe to say that, when that facility opens over there, that we're going to be paying attention to kind of the activity and the patterns that go on out there? And
Yes, sir. We already make the parks.
Directed patrol.
Yeah, we're out there all the time. It's one of our priorities. We're always in the parks, as it is now.
And I got to say this, and the best part, we've had some great community police officers, and the best part about having community police officers and the partnership with Pinellas County Sheriff is you get to know our community. You know some of the people, I'm not going to say that all of our people are saints, but, we've got Sirakis in here and stuff like that. But you do find out where some of the problem hot spots are, and I know we had problems with the Abbey, and that got all straightened out before your watch in West Oldsmar. But that's the great part about having you guys as our community police officers is the continuity and learning our city and our people, and they get to know you as well. So
Yes,
we
sir.
look forward to having you for quite a while.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. First item on the agenda is our consent docket. We have 3 items. Approve the minutes of the December 1st, 2015 City Council meeting. Second item is approve the tentative agenda for March 22nd, 2016. Also, third item is accept the resignation of John Ruckart from the Leisure Services Advisory Board. I understand that he took a new position and his schedule just conflicts with him being able to serve properly on the Leisure Services Board. So if nobody wishes to pull anything, second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Thank you. Next is the proclamation for Florida Bicycle Month, and she doesn't know this, but Linda Norris is going to do that.
I am? Yay! Oh, so what do I do? Read it here?
And then you'll present it to
Then I
Becky.
get to give it to Becky? Oh, yay!
Like it's her first time.
It's my second time. Oh, my goodness. Okay, do I read the whole thing?
Over here.
Oh, I read this over here. Thank you. Okay. Florida Bicycle Month. Whereas bicycling plays an important role in the lives of millions of Florida's residents and visitors by providing means to travel to work, school, and parks, and is a popular form of recreation and exercise, helping to motivate ecotourism. And whereas the Florida Department of Transportation and many local governments throughout the state have adopted goals and policies to develop a multimodal transportation system that supports transportation alternatives, including cycling, and encourages the use of bicycles as a safe mode of transportation on Florida roadways. And whereas bicycle and pedestrian safety have been elevated to a critical priority of the Florida Department of Transportation in order to reduce fatalities and serious injuries on Florida roadways. And whereas bicycling promotes health and wellness and is an important part of encouraging all citizens to develop habits of physical activity to become or stay fit, avoid obesity, and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. And whereas The Florida Bicycle Association and other bicycle safety advocates throughout the state have adopted goals to promote cycling as a safe alternative transportation option, and nearly 25 million residents and tourists participate in cycling annually. And whereas bicycles provide an alternative and economical means of transportation to work, thus increasing access to employment, provide mobility for those without access to a motor vehicle, increases existing road and parking capacity when people choose bicycling for utilitarian, is that how you say that? Trips, and reducing the number of automobiles on roadways, and reduces emission and air pollution. Now, therefore, Doug Beavis, Mayor of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, do hereby proclaim March 2016 as Florida Bicycle Month in the City of Oldsmar, dated this first day of March 2016. Doug Beavis, Mayor. Thank you. Right?
Yep.
And I get to give it to Becky.
Yeah.
Yay.
And we all got our little colorful bicycles, so.
You got a little what?
Colorful bicycle?
Bicycle, right. You want to say a few words? Okay, yes. Go ahead and take a picture.
Oh, do I do it? Do you want to talk first?
Do I give her a microphone? Come over here.
All right. I actually prepared a speech.
Wow.
Nice.
Kind of. I just want to thank you, Mayor, Council, and the residents of Oldsmar for the support of bicycling. As Executive Director of the Florida Bicycle Association, the only membership-driven statewide nonprofit for bicycling education and advocacy, it is an honor to have a job whose purpose is to encourage healthy lifestyles through bicycling. The fact that the association is headquartered here in Oldsmar is a dream come true.
It's true.
Oldsmar has embraced bicycling not only through the very visible BMX Supercross track at Canal Park, but by creating a linear park linking all of our city parks, the Oldsmar Trail. I encourage the residents of Oldsmar to celebrate March, Florida Bicycle Month, by taking a bicycle ride instead of a car trip if the distance is 2 miles or less. Chances are you can use the Oldsmar Trail. Gull Air to the library or to Ariels Park, Oldsmar Trail. East Shore Drive to the post office or Cypress Park, you can use the Oldsmar Trail. Bicycling is a fun and healthy transportation alternative, and if you start small, you'll learn to do it more and more and actually enjoy it more and more. So it is an honor as an Oldsmar resident and the director of the Florida Bicycle Association to accept this recognition by the City of Oldsmar for Florida Bicycle Month. Thank you, and see you on the Oldsmar Trail.
Nice.
Hiding.
Yes.
We're all so quiet, like it's going to show up in the picture. Congratulations, and thanks for all you do. And thanks for our cool little bikes. Our next item is the presentation of the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, and I'm honored to present this to Cindy Nino, if you would come up. No. Oh, he's everybody.
Including Al.
And I was talking about this with Bruce, and they now have gone to the medallions because we've gotten this is our 24th year of getting this accomplishment, and they used to just give you these tiles, which are, here I'll present to you, are super heavy, and had they kept doing that, we would have been able to tile a small room with all of these. So the medallions are better. I'll go ahead and read it. It is the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, presented to the city of Oldsmar, Florida. So congratulations, 24 years, and you would like to say a few things. What goes into it?
What goes into it? Basically a whole year. So we have to, actually the financial statement is the results of our operations for the entire year. And then when we end up producing the CAFRA, which is, it's not just your normal push a button, print a statement. It has notes, you know, it's a document like that, it's a book. So we send that book into the GFOA for an assessment. It's basically gets graded. And then if we do a good job, we get one of these.
And what kind of things are they looking for? Errors or the quality of it, the content?
They're looking to make sure that we're following all the accounting standards, making sure that all of our documentation is correct, that it's been audited for one, and just make sure all the content and the form is right, notes are everything is documented as legally required.
And we've gotten it for 24 years, but I assume there are some cities that don't get them?
So that is correct, and some cities lose them once in a while.
Oh, really? We could lose that thing?
We could.
Al?
We haven't yet, so.
Well, congratulations to everybody. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to introduce our staff. This is Debbie Deschamps. She does our accounts payables. She pays all the bills. Garrett Zeliff, he's our financial and management analyst. Amy Ratlish is our accounting supervisor.
That's a pretty young employee.
That's a new intern program.
Oh, it's a new intern program.
And we're missing Sandy Winkler. She's our financial analyst.
Yep.
And of course, our fearless leader, Al Braithwaite.
Why aren't you up here? Congratulations and thanks to everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the council, mayor, and city manager for giving us a great statement.
Yes, thank you. We know it's a lot of work, so thank you for all your time.
Congratulations, Cindy.
And our next item is consider moving Sean Osborne from full member of to alternate member of the Code Enforcement Board, and consider moving Cristin Silliman from alternate member to full member of the Code Enforcement Board.
Well, I'm here, but I don't see Sean, so I don't know if we can go forward or not. We can? Okay. Yeah. I'm Cristin Silliman.
Well, thank you. I think we met you fairly recently, didn't we? It seems like.
Probably.
Although time flies.
It does.
But I believe we've met Sean before, and we try and do this when you're, and obviously we met him when he was appointed, so this is really kind of a changing of hats. So, but we do appreciate you coming and sitting through the meeting. And does anybody have any questions? If not, I need a motion to make the change.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Don't stop.
Thank you.
You heard the complaints tonight. Got it all resolved? Thank you. Next is consider the reappointments of Babe Wright and Rita Clark to the Code Enforcement Boards. I've seen both of them here. If you want to come up, you can.
She got farther to go. I know. How are you? We're here.
That's awesome.
Introduce yourselves.
Yeah, for those of us that don't know the two of you.
Which is practically.
Which one of you is Babe? I'm not sure.
We're babes. We're both babes.
You're both babes.
Oh,
Good
nice.
answer. Good answer.
Ba-doom boom.
Rita Clark, 304 National Orange Avenue, close to the zip line.
Yep. And you
I'm
live
gonna
by,
go on it too.
And the other one, you live by that four-way stop, right?
I wish. Ask you about that stop sign on National Orange.
All the way on, they could move that one down by me.
There you go. Yeah.
Well,
what do we?
I do want to say thanks for, for coming tonight, and obviously you're on the board, but to reappoint you. And we have a lot of boards in the city. Some are more glamorous than others, and you're on one of the ones that's not as glamorous for sure, but it's very important, as you heard tonight.
Well, Junior will be happy.
Yeah, the code, it's very important to the city. You know, it's one thing for us to write the violation, but then it's the other for the code enforcement board to be a part of the process. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for them? If not, need a motion?
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second. All in favor? Fiver?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, many thanks.
Thank you. Yay. City Attorney, I see nothing. Is that still the case?
That's still the case.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is approved waiver of interest in wetland conservation and setback line. This property is located on the north side of Tampa Road between Gimgong Road and Commerce Boulevard. And I'd like to ask Marie Dauphiné, our Planning and Redevelopment Director, to give the council a little background on the item.
Basically, this is kind of a cleanup ordinance or waiver of interest. The property is, the city manager said, is west of Commerce Boulevard, south of Douglas Road, north of Tampa Road, and it's over 10 acres. It was platted as the Gumby subdivision plat, and currently there is the Goodwill property that's located right there in the corner of Commerce. Let me see, and then the next lot is developed with Sherwin-Williams, and there's actually 2 lots left. Actually, it was a 3-lot subdivision, but they split the last lot. So the property owner would like to sell the last 2 lots, but then he noticed during his due diligence that this wetland conservation area was still shown on the plat. So he would like that removed. Southwest Florida Water Management District had approved it being filled, so it's really not wetland conservation. It was just a mistake when they platted the property. So the city attorney has reviewed this waiver of interest, and we're asking that you.
Kind of basically a housekeeping thing.
Yes. And the owner of the property is here if you'd like to ask him any questions.
Raise his hand just so we see. Okay, hi, thank you for coming. Does anybody have any questions of staff? Just more of a housekeeping. So I need a motion.
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 9, consider adoption of Resolution 2015-05, revising the budget for FY 2015 and 16. As council's aware, we do a budget review, a formal review, 3 times a year, usually in February. We're hitting March 1st this year and in June. The budget revision before you this evening involves 3 funds. There's a $115,000 transfer in the general fund, $9,000 in the water and sewer fund, and $20,000 in the stormwater utility fund. I'll read the resolution by title only. This is Resolution 2015-2016-05, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, revising the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015, and ending September 30, 2016, authorizing the City Manager and the Director of Administrative Services to revise the existing budget. That's the reading of Resolution 2016-05 by title only. I recommend its adoption. If you want me to go to any more details, I'd be happy to do that. I kind of just hit the summary of.
I know we all had our one-on-ones with you to discuss the changes to the budget. Does anybody have any additional comments or questions? No? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. City Clerk, can we just confirm that what Loretta said is it is open at the library to drop off ballots, not to vote, but just to drop off ballots that you don't want to mail. That's correct? And
Yes.
that's now.
Yes.
Bruce and I were having some discussion earlier today about when that actually starts, but it is in effect. So next item is comments by council, and we'll start with Councilmember Saraki.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I'm getting to go first. First of all, I want to start off by saying happy birthday, Bruce.
Oh.
Well,
how old are you, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, that was last month. Thank you.
it.
There
you go.
So are you 50?
Close.
All right, Kurt, okay.
And then some.
Loretta mentioned the March 19th Tampa Bay Downs dinner. I don't know, is anyone else going? Linda, you can't go now, but is anyone else going to go?
I'm not sure yet.
I have
Tom's
a
going?
family dinner.
I'll have to look at my
so-
calendar.
Paul and I are going. We went the last 2 years. It's a great dinner. If you guys can make it, it would be.
I'm not sure if we're going. I know we're.
Love to have you guys there. It's a fun, there's gonna be, my wife did the invitations and we're trying to build more people to come, so if you guys could make that, I'd appreciate it. March 9th is my 25th wedding anniversary.
Ooh, happy
My wife told
anniversary.
me if I didn't say anything, she was gonna be upset at me. We're not going anywhere because I'm busy with the centennial, but we are planning a trip to Poland.
Oh, that's
Nice.
Yep, and we're gonna go to Poland, Italy. We're working on that, but we gotta get through the centennial first. Last thing is, Linda, I just wanna say thank you for everything you've done for me over the last 14, 15 months since I've been on city council.
You're welcome.
I really do appreciate you, being a force and helping me learn how to be on this seat. And I just appreciate everything you've done.
Aw,
And I wish you all the luck in the future.
you're sweet.
All right,
Thank you.
and I think that's all I have. Thank you so much. Mayor?
Councilmember Sidell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a few items tonight. First, I'd like to congratulate once again our finance department on being recognized with their excellence. That is such a big deal. I'm one of those who can greatly appreciate when the numbers are right and the citizens can count on them. It is a complete demonstration of integrity and transparency, and so it's not lightly recognized. Congratulations for that again. Just a reminder for Oldsmar Days coming up, and if you'll just make sure it's on your calendar, the city council, we all decided we'd take a shift. I think Al's going to come out and help, and maybe Dean. I'm not sure who else is coming. Do you like the way I did that?
Yeah, you kind of
See
just
what I
like,
did? That's what I did.
now they have to.
That's how I did it. It's on Sunday. I believe the time is from 12 to 6, 7. What is it? 7. Oh, there you go. It's a snap. You're there for 5 hours. What's a couple more? So anyhow, we're there on Sunday, just a reminder.
And as part of being elected into the new seat, that person is required to be a part of
I
it?
thought that was an absolute requirement.
Well, it didn't say it in
And
the.
the outgoing has to go as well.
I already want to
Right,
go.
right.
I already want to go.
It wasn't quite part of the ballot language, but I think it was.
I just hope they both understand that. That's what they're signing up for, and welcome to city council. I just have another comment. Some of the citizens who are up here talking and not being informed about the zip line, which is a big deal. I mean, that certainly is going to have some impact in the neighborhood. I think it's going to be a positive impact, but clearly their concerns are warranted. We should promote, and I know we do, but maybe this is a great opportunity to re-promote our Facebook page for the city, those types of things to our citizens. If you're on Facebook, social media, it is a great way to keep up with some of the more meaningful events going on. Lots of us post on it. It's an easy, simple way. The reality of it is we don't always get the media coverage we'd like, which I think is a tool that some of larger cities have. But it's just a comment that there's pretty much not much that goes on in the city that the city isn't posting on social media. And it's a real easy way to, kind of have it pushed to you. So just a comment for all of our citizens.
I'm going to have to sign up for that Facebook thing, I think.
I think Deb said that was the most shared post ever in the history of Oldsmar, right? Ever.
150,000 views, 1,000 shares.
Oh my gosh.
Brian's concerns back there.
Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Sorry, Brian.
But anyhow, just a point of information on that. And the last, Linda, our last meeting up here, I joke, and you and I joke about this all the time. If you're sitting at the podium out there and you're looking up here, it's kind of funny how you're on the far left and I'm on the far right.
That's awesome.
And I thought about that one night when we were discussing something. And yet, I will say that I have learned a great deal from you.
Oh.
And I've always respected your opinion and feel like mine's always been respected. And I think it's part of the reason the council gets things done. The reality is we all like each other, which is not always the case. with some councils I know. But I just always appreciated your approach and your leadership. It has truly been a good thing for the city of Oldsmar.
I didn't think I was going to cry.
And, you know, I'm going to miss that a great deal. I know we've got some great people running, but it's not going to be quite the same. But I know you're going to continue to do great things. I wouldn't be surprised if we see you again. So whatever you do, just know that you're going to be missed and greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm getting all sappy here. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
I had a few things. One of the things I was going to mention that you brought up a good point, you know, the revenue that would come from the zip line would probably go back into Mobley Bay. Could we potentially look at, in the future, adding an additional dog park in the city? I mean, if you think about the number of people in the city that probably have a dog, more than likely, almost probably 80% of households have a dog. And that dog park does get really busy. So I think if there was an additional location for a dog park, that would help limit some of the traffic and also give our residents, you know, maybe they're driving over Tampa Road to get to that dog park because they live on the other side, or maybe they live on the other end of Shore Drive. And I don't know what the location would be, but I think that would be something good to consider because it can't be that much maintenance, you know, a fence and some grass, you know, things of that nature. So it might be nice to have an additional option in the future, just so it's not all at that parking.
There is another dog park at...
Well, down by my house, but it's not an official dog park.
By Harbor Palms.
Sheffield Park.
Sheffield Park, there's a dog park.
Is it used often?
It's some, but
Maybe it's used all the time. When I ride my bike, it's packed with
good
dogs.
opportunity to remind people that
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
there.
I've never been over there. I'm sure probably people that only live back over there probably use it.
Gabby, they're walking their dogs along the trail.
Okay.
They park over by Harbor Palms where the Sillimans live, and they walk their dogs to that park and they hang out in there.
Okay.
Plus, there's a big parking lot there by the basketball courts and the tennis courts.
All right, that's good to know. I mean,
And maybe to Eric's point, maybe that's something that we push back out that people don't know about, that there is. Well, I had forgotten about it, actually.
I mean, I don't think people are going to drive, if they lived over there, that far to this
Right.
one over here. So I think it's a location, it might be something to look at if the funds come in and we could do that. Secondly, of course, Linda, you know, I'll miss you. And you were such just extremely helpful to me too when I was considering running for council and meeting with you and, you know, asking you about, you know, how to do it and you know, just inspiring me to run. And of course, you know, I'll never forget when I was elected and Janice Miller was on the council, you know, having that female majority.
Yes.
Even though it was brief.
It's funny,
Yes.
I just wrote that
Yes.
before you started saying it.
First time in the history of Oldsmar.
Yeah, so that was really great, and I love being a part of that with you, and of course I'll miss you and all your beautiful outfits and shoes and hair every day. And as a friend, I know we'll stay great friends forever, but thank you so much for all that you've contributed to the city, and as my friend, and also even when I was running for council, I really appreciate it. And again, another happy birthday to Bruce. I hope you had a great birthday weekend.
I did, yes.
And that's all I have.
And because I can do it, because I'm the mayor, I'm going next. And I had brought this up to Bruce, and I thought somebody from my neighborhood was going to come, and I saw Tom Price here, but he left. I don't know what the process is, talking about golf carts in areas like we made South Oldsmar golf cart friendly. There was a request by somebody that lives in, I think, Forest Lakes area, somewhere over there, to make some of that area golf cart friendly. I was waiting on them to develop their area, and then I wanted to piggyback at the request of one of my neighbors, the stretch of road from the gate at Bay Arbor up to Tampa Road, but not really. Pretty much it'll stop at Bay Arbor Place because people in there have golf carts and would like to ride them up to Rumba and Salt Rock and things like that. So rather than waiting for them for Forest Lakes, is there something we need to do, or I need to do, or the resident needs to do to look at that?
You're talking about Bay Arbor Boulevard?
Yeah, I don't know, because I was waiting for the other people and I was going to piggyback on it, but I can.
Well, I think in those cases where there's a homeowners association, a letter from the president of the homeowners association would probably be a way to get the ball rolling.
Okay, I'll do that. And then, because we're private roads, so obviously we can ride them in our own neighborhood, but if the association, okay, I'll get him to, well, I'll get her to approach him and get the letter from him if he in fact does that. And of course to Linda, you know, I've been on council and I'm going to be starting my second term as mayor. And, you know, we talk about this all the time about other municipalities and their councils and their ability to get things done. And I think it's because of the makeup of everybody on here. And Linda, you're certainly a part of that, you know, spearheading really getting us off zero with the art project. I think that's huge. I know we've hit a little bit of a block, but that was huge. And just the other contributions that you make, it is nice to hear other viewpoints, whether it's Eric's or Dan's or Gabby's or yours. And I think at the end of the day, no matter what it is, whether it's a workshop or discussion here at the council, we make a vote and we make a decision, but yet we're all friends. And, you know, that's the beauty of Oldsmar and this council. So thank you for everything that you've done. And I know you're going to continue to serve the city well. I know you told me today that you've signed up for the Leisure Services Board, and I also reminded you that council is the one that has to approve that, so keep that in mind. And I got to tell you, the other part is that I was honored to be a part of the Power Women picture with you and Gabby and Linda holding the gavel. That was neat. That was kind of a milestone in the city. You know, typically councils are made up of men, and over time that has changed, not only in our cities, but other cities. And it's because of vision of people like yourself and Gabby and wanting to be involved. And so thank you for everything that you've done. And I've asked you, I have a mayor's council tomorrow, which is a lot of the representatives from Pinellas County, the mayors, and if you could fill in for me, that would be great. And then I'll let you give your council comments, but I'm also going to pass this down to you to adjourn the meeting when we're all done.
Oh, you guys are, I promised myself I wasn't going to cry because it's really not going to be over until the 22nd after either Becky or Jerry leaves and gets sworn in and everything else. So you guys are really wanting to make me cry. Okay, I am going to take a little bit more time than I normally take. Okay, the first things that I have to say are Saturday was awesome with the opening of the Oldsmar Little League. The mayor and I were there. It was freezing cold. Okay, you guys aren't going to believe this. I was the first one there.
Was it at 7 a.m.? No, it was at 10.
No,
but the mayor was up at 5 and already at 103.5
recording 12
I think,
hours
for
of
like
music.
12 hours or whatever. So, you know, I'm just like bragging because I'm never anywhere first. But it was really nice because I'm also sponsoring a team, the Braves, go Braves. They won 10-7. And that was really cool. And it was just a really nice time to spend with the mayor and to spend with the team and to see the camaraderie now that we have. And I heard so many good things about Jerry Beaverland, about how he started it all and everything. And it was just a really nice time. And then the mayor and I went to Ryan Fitzpatrick's Eagle Scout ceremony, and that was really hard to hold back tears from because it was just so moving. I mean, when it was just so moving, like the mayor said, 2% of all scouts in the country reached that level.
And I believe he also said, I don't mean to interrupt, everybody on Apollo 13,
everybody that walked, most of the guys that walked on the moon,
Yeah.
everybody on Apollo 13, he was like rattling off all these like how high-powered, like, you know, accomplished people that were Eagle Scouts. And
when he said the
Yeah.
eagle has landed,
The
he
eagle,
said,
yes, that's right.
Yeah,
When he said the eagle has landed when he landed on the moon, it was part of an Eagle Scout, like
Yep.
kind of like tribute. So that was really cool. So that was really nice. And of course, I'm a little nostalgic because we have a lot of events and everything, but I know my events are coming to an end because this is my last meeting, and once somebody gets sworn in, I'm done. And so, but it was still a wonderful day. But to reflect on my time on the council, it's been 6 years, and it all started with a trip to my neighbor and my honorary stepdaddy, Jerry Beaverland's house. And I asked him, nobody knows me, you know, what do you think? He was a sitting council member, so he couldn't really say much because he couldn't really endorse anybody and he couldn't really, you know, tell me anything. But he said, Linda, if you think that you can do good for the citizens of Oldsmar, he said, you run, and don't worry about whether or not people know you. People will get to know you. And so because of you, Jerry, I ran. I want you to know that. And it's been an honor. The 6 years has been an honor. And I haven't been perfect. You know, I've had my ups and downs. I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I know that. And I don't hide things. And so when I have troubles, you guys all know about it. And when I have triumphs, you guys all know about it. But it's been 6 years that has changed my life. It really has. And during the time that I've been on council, especially in the last couple of years, I've lost my brother and my mother, and I've lost people in my family, and I've had a lot of loss. But I get calls from Eric and Gabby and Bruce, and I get calls, and I get you know, people, Dean, and people care about me, and people lift me up when I'm down. And it's like I might be losing family members, but I have an entire city that's my family, and that lifts me up. And I really appreciate that. You don't know how much I appreciate it when you guys call me and just make sure that I'm okay, you know. And I've tried my best to honor the citizens of Oldsmar. My favorite part of being on the council are the citizens. I know it's weird, but my favorite part is the citizens' letters and helping the citizens and then getting the feedback from the citizens. I really like that. I mean, all the conferences and all that stuff and all this stuff that we do up here and all the housekeeping and all that is all illuminating and encouraging and everything. But to be able to help the people that voted for me or even the people that didn't vote for me, that's been really moving for me. The very last item, part of the very last item that I got to vote on was a rebudget of art in public places. I noticed that. I was like, the last thing, and I got to second it. It was like so cool. So I am gonna stay involved, of course. The things I'm gonna do are, of course, if you guys approve me, I'm gonna be on the Leisure Services Board, I hope. And of course, I'm now also with Deb, one of the founding members of the North Pinellas Cultural Alliance. And so we're, you know, going gung-ho with that. So a lot of the arts, I'm going to do a lot of that. I've also spoken to Gus Bilirakis, Representative Bilirakis, and I'm going to join his committee to help the veterans that have come back from Iraq and Afghanistan that have PTSD. And a lot of you don't know this, but I've had that. I've been diagnosed, I'm a survivor of PTSD. So in order to help people with something that I've been through myself, that I feel on a visceral cellular level, you know, people, don't be ashamed. If you've got like any kind of depression or any kind of PTSD or any kind of addiction or any kind of mental thing that you're ashamed of, don't be ashamed, you know, get help, ask for help. And so I'm honored that Gus said that he's gonna put me on that committee, that I'm gonna be able to help that. So I'm gonna be doing that. I actually hired a personal trainer, so I'm going to start working out. It's like,
right.
I know, it's like
right.
Don't
join them on the treadmills, will you?
You three, okay? It's like me and Dan are the ones that need to catch up. Dan rides his bike all the time. He's even better than me. But you three are like always at the gym, so.
I went twice today because I was bored.
Okay, so the mayor, so 5 o'clock in the morning, he gets up on Saturday. Then he goes and he like records whatever he's got to record. Then he goes to Oldsmar Little League and he's all chipper and everything. And then he goes to the Eagle Scout thing and he's all chipper and everything.
I went to a soccer game, my grandson's soccer game.
Oh, wait, that's right, in between soccer game, Eagle Scout. And then I'm like, okay, oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go home and go to bed. And he goes, I'm going to the gym. And I'm like, what? So I really do respect everything that I do. And as far as my fellow council members, you know, the whole thing with Janice, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that we had a female majority for how many ever months it was. It was just awesome, you know, and I have a picture of the three of us, and I'm gonna frame it for you because it's so beautiful. And Bruce, you've been my BFF, you know, for those of you that aren't tech savvy, BFF is best friend forever. And if I hadn't had Bruce, I wouldn't have made it through the first couple of years. I wouldn't have learned. And Doug used to sit right here.
Yeah.
Doug is the only person on the council that's been on the council with me the entire time. You're the only one that's been here the entire time with me.
Yep.
Through Roniker and Mayor Roniker and when Jerry was on and Janice and everybody else. And Tom, I respect you immensely. I respect you immensely. I'll never forget your prayers and I'll never forget your support. And Dan, you're tireless. You're tireless. And people in the city are becoming to know and love you. And so just keep it up. And I want to help you with the Centennial Committee.
Thank you.
And Eric, my favorite opponent. It's so funny that you said that I'm on the left and you're on the right, because we might have those viewpoints, but we always seem to come into the middle. We always seem to come into the middle. And you're one of those people that always calls me when, at the right moment, you always call me, and I appreciate that, you know. And Kathy and Ann, I couldn't have done it without you guys. I couldn't have. There's no way. There's no way. Okay, I'm not a real good emailer or anything like that, so it's like, thank God that they like call me and tell me this is what you have to do and this is what you have to know, and they have all these little packets for me, and it's so easy to, you know, be on the council with you too. So there's so many things I'm proud of, you know, being on the team, the green team that got the silver certification for the city. I was on that team, you know. I never even noticed this. I had nothing to do with it, but my name's on this building. And I'm like, okay, that's not quite fair. Okay, I was on the council when it happened, but I didn't really do anything for it. But certain things, I did do things, you know. There's certain things I did, and I'm very proud of all of that. And I just, you know, and thinking about the people we lost, Janice and Bill Antozzi, you know, I mean, so many things have happened in the 6 years. And look, I'm not crying. I'll cry on.
Make Kathy cry.
I'll
It's not
cry.
a meeting if Kathy
There's Kathy crying yet.
She's getting close. Keep it going.
I'll cry on. Oh, I can guarantee you that on the 22nd that I'm going to cry, because then it's going to be over. Then I'm going to be like, what? Okay, what am I going to do? You know, travel, whatever. But I will be doing all these other things. And no matter who no matter who follows me, whether it's Jerry or Becky, the citizens of Oldsmar will be very, very, very well served. And another one of my favorite things was fire ops, Chief. Fire ops, a couple times I did the fire ops. That was another one of my favorite things.
The one she was late for? Was that the one?
Oh, no, I wasn't late for, was I late? Oh, yeah, I was. I was late for one of the fire ops, and I was late for my 24-hour shift that turned into a 22-hour shift. And I told Jason, who is another one I want to thank, because Jason has been a great friend and a great supporter. I told Jason, I said, just tell Dean to fire me. It's okay, he can fire me, you know. So I just, you know, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm going to be right there, a little thorn, and I'm going to be like, you know, Linda Norris, 510 Oakwood Boulevard. You know, I'm going to be a citizen, and I'm going to be like, you know, pushing agendas and all that good stuff. But I really can't say enough about how much this has meant to me to be able to be part of this democracy and to be able to be part of this. And the mayor was right. I've talked to so many different councils all throughout Tampa and Pinellas County. None of them get along the way we do. We were texting Friday night, the 5 of us. And
it was
Eric,
on nothing that we were voting on, just so you know, Tom.
what were we texting about?
I don't know.
Something silly.
We text about crazy
Could you
stuff.
talk to Tom about it first, and then we'll figure it out?
No, it was something silly. It was something silly.
It was. I can't remember.
And Eric said, do you think there's any other councils in Pinellas County or anywhere that are group texting on a Friday night? And I'm like, well, I have no life, so that's my, you know, that's my excuse. But no.
We haven't been known to do that quite all of us sometimes.
Being there, and it's like, you guys, beep.
I know. And I'm going to miss that. So I don't know. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. Thank you, Mayor, for letting me do your event tomorrow. I'd be honored to do it. I'd be honored to do it.
See, we can keep you in the group text, because I doubt Jerry's going to be in there.
Keep me in the group text. I'll just, yeah. Well, I'll teach Jerry. Well, Jerry just
leaned over and said, what is a group text?
Becky already knows how to text, because Becky texts me.
Savvy.
So Becky can do it. So if Becky wins, she can group text.
Uh-oh.
Now, if Jerry wins, he can Facebook, though. He started Facebooking.
You think he does that?
He's Facebooking now.
You sure it's not Wanda?
No, Wanda has her own.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I love you guys, and I could go on and on, but I know everybody wants to go home. I love you, and it's been an honor and a privilege to serve. And I'm not going to cry until the 22nd. I'll cry on the 22nd.
Any other comments before we roll the tape?
Oh, I get to do.
Wait.
Oh no.
There's one last thing.
One last thing.
Oh no. Oh, my ex-boyfriend. Hush up. The second to last. Aww. Look at Janice. Oh, Lord have mercy. Fire ups, okay. I wasn't sick, good. Oh, my mama.
Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Great. That's my
That was a
favorite.
fun weekend.
Said I wasn't going to cry.
How's that waterproof makeup on?
Do I look like a raccoon yet?
We're proud of you.
Thank you.
Adjourn the meeting.
Oh,
You're on.
do I just do this? Do I just say, do I say anything? Meeting
Whatever
adjourned.
you want to say, it's your gavel. It's your gavel.
Meeting adjourned.